dig into that conversation, the more questions you can ask and the more you help them verbally process their situation of what it currently would be versus what they want, that's when you get them bought in. You're no longer selling life insurance. You're discovering a need by asking questions and practicing active listening, and they're going to sell themselves because they currently don't know that they have a problem, and you're helping them self-discover by asking questions. You're helping them self-discover that they have a problem that you have a solution for. All right, you can fix this problem easy today. Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. I am your host, Michael Weaver, and today we're talking about how to sell life insurance to a homeowner, someone that owns a house. All right, that's what we're talking about today. So I hope you're ready. Hope you're excited. Thank you so much for joining me on the Buzz today. Now, why I love homeowners. I love homeowners because they have a huge asset to protect. Now, without question, someone's biggest asset is themselves. But most people, unless you're in the insurance industry or financial services industry, customers automatically think that their home is their biggest asset, period. All right. So they have a big asset to protect. Not only that, most homeowners have a family. Most homeowners have kids. All right. They have someone they want to protect, a spouse. Lastly, most homeowners not only have a mortgage, but they typically also have more debt, other debt. All right. And so that's why I love targeting individuals that have homes, that are homeowners. All right. Credit's usually pretty good as well. So by targeting homeowners, you're setting yourself up for success to, number one, have a conversation with somebody about a life insurance plan that needs a life insurance plan. Not only that, you're talking to somebody that's going to have a mortgage. They're going to have lots of debt, which is going to drive up your death benefit and your premium. And those are two reasons why I really love contacting homeowners, because there's a need there and the need is usually pretty big. So if you struggle with selling lower premium, lower death benefit types of policies, this will automatically equate to a conversation that is going to drive up the death benefit, which drives up the premium automatically. So the first step to selling life insurance to a homeowner is first and foremost running a list. So if you're an agency owner or you're a producer, team member, sales professional that works in an agency that has a book of business, all right, no matter how big or how small the book, you're sitting on a gold mine of opportunity. Even if it's just 250 homeowners, that's 250 opportunities. 250 opportunities. And with most homeowners, you get 2 life insurance plans. So that's actually 500 opportunities at a minimum. At a minimum, that's saying they don't have kids. Okay? So run a list. And if you don't have a list, create a list. So if you're brand new to the insurance industry, you don't have a book of business, you're starting to scratch like I did, create a list. Every single person you know that owns a home, I want you to take 30 minutes. I want you to write down their name. Write down their name. If you got their phone number, write it down. Try to create a list of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 people. As many people as you know that own a house, create a list. But if you're someone that currently is in a book of business, whether you the owner or the producer, run a list of all of your homeowners. If you're with a company that allows you to run a homeowners with a mortgage, all right, to where you can filter it, do that. But don't get caught up in the weeds. If you're like, Michael, I can't filter to only homeowners that have mortgages, great. Just run a homeowners list. Don't make this complicated. So that's the very first step to this. First, we got to run the list. Next, once you have the list all printed out, what I want you to do is I want you to put 30-minute time blocks on your calendar every single day. I want you to put 30 minutes on your calendar every single day. 30 minutes at a minimum. If you want to take this to the next level, let's make an hour of intentional time. But hey, 30 minutes. If you just spend 30 minutes of intentional time every single day, that is 2.5 hours a week. 2.5 hours a week. All right, 30 minutes every day, 5 days. That's 2.5 hours. That's 10 hours a month. Do you think if you spent 10 hours, 10 intentional hours calling homeowners to talk to them about life insurance, you would produce life insurance? The answer is yes, every single day of the week. Intentionality. You have to be intentional with your day. Your day is either going to run at you or you are going to run your day. So you are being proactive instead of reactive here. You're printing the list, you're preparing to be successful, you're planning to be successful, you're putting time blocks on the calendar. All right, that's step 2, 30-minute time blocks at a minimum. What is a time block for those of you that may not know? It would be putting on your calendar every single day, for example, 3 to 3:30. And every single day from 3 to 3:30, I'm going to call for 30 minutes every single person that owns a home that I can during that 30-minute time frame, with the goal of not getting through as many calls as you can, with the goal of getting a hold of as many people as you can and having a conversation. So you may only have 1 or 2 conversations in this 30-minute time frame, but those conversations are what counts. All right? So 30-minute time block. Third, if you have a team, you need to communicate your time blocks. Hey, this is my time block. I'm going to be calling people that own their homes. I'm not going to be taking any phone calls. I'm not going to be answering the doors. I'm not going to be answering any of your questions. This is 30 minutes of uninterrupted time so that I can be successful and I can help people out, families out with their life insurance plan. Deal? Deal. Communicate it with your team. You win as a team, you lose as a team. All right. So make sure you communicate this so there are absolutely no distractions. Meaning, step 4, close your email. Close your phone. Like, you don't need to be scrolling on your email. You don't need to be scrolling on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on the old TikTok. All right. You need to close those down. Phone goes on airplane mode. No distractions. Email, close it. You don't need to see what's coming in during this 30-minute time frame. All you're doing is making intentional calls to talk about life insurance. You with me right now? You with me? Now let's actually get to the call. How do we make this call? What does this call sound like? All right. And the reason, look, we do a lot of training at Weaver Sales Academy. At a minimum, we do 1 life insurance live training every single month. Typically, we're doing 2 live life insurance role play calls a month, every single month at Weaver Sales Academy. We have a fully built out life insurance training curriculum within our academy. And this is one that works so well. And this is one that we practice typically monthly, because this is a conversation that you have to become the expert at. You have to become the master at, because you're always going to be insuring individuals that have homes. All right. Again, a big asset, typically have a family, typically have more debt. These are your ideal life insurance prospects. These are ideal people to help out with life insurance. And if you're not having the conversation, nobody is, which means if somebody passes away in their family, they're going to be devastated financially. They're going to have to sell the house. They're going to have to move school districts, like, no questions about it. If they don't have a life insurance plan, all right, a majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. If a spouse passes away and that income goes away, there is absolutely no way they get to continue to keep that house. That is the power you have as an insurance professional. You have the ability to help someone out with a plan to make sure that on their worst day, they aren't devastated financially. That is the impact that you get to make. All right, so let's get into this. What are we going to say? What are you going to say when you make this call? All right, this is step 4. Or step 5. This is actually making the call. All right, I don't know where I'm at on steps right now. So this is where you actually make the call. So I'm going to role play with myself here. It's going to get a little weird. All right. Role playing by myself here, but you're going to get it. So when I would call, hey, I never say Mr. or Mrs. Customer. I always call them by their first name. I want to make sure that I'm human. All right. This is the competitive advantage of being human. All right. Building that relationship. So number 1, when you call them, address them by their first name. Hey, John, what's going on? This is Michael, your insurance agent. How have you been? So I want you to spend 3 to 5 minutes of building rapport with the customer. Build rapport with them. Talk about their family, occupation, recreation. What's going on? All right. How are their kids? How are their grandkids? Do they got any big vacations planned? Like, what's going on in 2024? So I want you to build rapport. I want you to warm them up a little bit, baby. Like, warm them up. You just aren't going straight for the gusto. You got to warm them up. Warm them up. Now, after you've built rapport with them, this is when you get into the actual conversation. This is when you get into it. So, hey, the reason I was giving you a call today. So, if this is a current customer, all right, this is a current customer. Hey, the reason I was giving you a call today is I was just going through our notes on file. We're calling all of our homeowners, and I don't see any notes on file regarding your mortgage payoff protector plan. Tell me, in the event that you were to pass away, what do you have in place as far as a mortgage payoff protector plan to make sure that your spouse would receive a check large enough to be able to pay off the mortgage? And this is where you stay silent. This is where you go quiet, let them answer. And they're typically going to say one of two things. They're going to say, Michael, that doesn't sound familiar. I don't think we have that. Or they're going to say, what are you talking about? Or they're going to say, are you talking about life insurance? Now, if they call it out, I want you to be like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. What does your life insurance plan look like? To make sure that if you were to pass away unexpectedly, your spouse could make sure that the mortgage was paid off. Now, that comes up, I would say 25% of the time. The other 75% is the conversation of, what are you talking about? Or I don't think I have that. Well, let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, first and foremost, would it be important to you to make sure that in the event you were to pass away unexpectedly, that your spouse and family would receive a check large enough to be able to pay off not only the mortgage, but all the debt in your house so that they didn't have to worry about how they're going to make that next mortgage payment or struggle financially? Would that be important to you? Now, you're going for a yes here because when they tell you yes, I want you to dig in, baby. I want you to be like, tell me about that. Why would that be important to you? All right, tell me more about that. Why would that be important to you? And if they say no, well, hey, tell me about that. Tell me about that. What would your family do? What would your family do if you didn't have a plan in place? How are they going to afford that mortgage? All right. And here we go. If you're talking about qualifying a lead, when they say no, this is probably a lead that you don't want to work. All right. You're not, your job isn't to convince people that they need a life insurance plan. Your job is simply to bring up the conversation and work with those people that care about their family and love their family. All right. So this is a great way to qualify the lead because most people are going to say yes. Well, tell me about that. Have them paint you a picture. What would the situation look like right now if you were to pass away unexpectedly, Mr. and Mrs. Customer? So after they tell you why it would be important, then have them paint you a picture. Well, hey, let's go ahead and talk about the situation. If you were to pass away unexpectedly or your spouse were to pass away unexpectedly, what would the situation currently look like without a plan like we're talking about in place? That income is gone. How are you going to be able to pay the debt? How are you going to be able to pay the mortgage? What does that look like? So you're going to help them paint a picture because again, you want them to verbally process to you what that would look like. And then after they get done talking about what it would look like, and I want you to really dig into this, really get them emotionally involved in the conversation, painting that picture that's not real great. Then I want you to have them paint you the picture of, well, hey, what would you want the situation to look like? So you told me why it would be important to you, but what would you want their situation to look like? All right, so this is how you get into that conversation. And then that's when the rest of the life insurance conversation flows, where you'd go into product, you'd go into budget, all that fun stuff. But this is how you open up that conversation with homeowners that you're calling. All right, it's that easy. But don't forget the steps I talked about. You have to print the list. Make sure you're planning for success. All right, you have to make sure you're planning. You have to prepare. You don't want to be reactive. You don't want to be reactive here. The better you can be prepared and organized, the more success you're going to see. So print the list, create the 30-minute time block at a minimum, hour if you want to, 30 minutes minimum though. Next, you're going to communicate with your team. All right, no distractions. Then what are we going to do? We're going to turn off that cell phone. We're going to exit out of the email. And then we're actually going to start making the dials and having conversations around what's important to the customer. So again, when you go into it, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, the reason I was giving you a call today is I don't see any notes on file regarding your mortgage payoff protector plan. Tell me, what does your current mortgage payoff protector plan look like in the event you were to pass away? All right, in the event you were to pass away, is your spouse going to receive a check large enough to be able to pay off the mortgage? What does that look like? Open that question up. Now, for those of you that don't have a book of business and you're just calling people that have homes, it's the same conversation. Hey, I was giving you a call. I know you're a homeowner. I had a question for you. What does your mortgage payoff protector plan look like? Meaning that in the event you were to pass away, your spouse would receive a check large enough to pay off the mortgage so they didn't have to worry about how they're going to make that next mortgage payment or selling the house going into bankruptcy because they're no longer receiving your income. So it's pretty much the same conversation, just a little bit of a verbiage change. Woo-wee! How you like that? All right. So this was a question from you, the Buzz audience. Hey, I'm having a hard time starting a conversation with homeowners. And that's exactly what I just shared with you today. So make sure you take this, you run with it, you implement it, and let me know your success that you have from it. And remember, the biggest thing I want to reiterate here is when you get them interested, dig into that conversation. The more questions you can ask and the more you help them verbally process their situation of what it currently would be versus what they want, that's when you get them bought in. You're no longer selling life insurance. You're discovering a need by asking questions and practicing active listening, and they're going to sell themselves because they currently don't know that they have a problem, and you're helping them self-discover by asking questions. You're helping them self-discover that they have a problem that you have a solution for. All right, you can fix this problem easy today. So go out, run with it. I appreciate you guys tuning into the Buzz today. As always, time and attention are by far our most important assets. So I appreciate you spending time with me on the Buzz today. I would love to know your biggest takeaway. Shoot me a text, 816-727-7610. I promise you it's coming to me. It's not an AI bot. It's not technology. It is human. It's me, baby. I want to hear from you. I want to talk to you. I want to help you. Other than that, go out and make it great.